Of course, the Brazil game is how we will start today's show. They were absolutely brilliant in the opening 45 minutes of this tie. Everybody contributing, everybody looking exceptional on the ball. And at 4-0 at half-time, the fixture, of course, done and dusted. South Korea would get one back, but the tournament favourites really impressing. Well, let's welcome in, shall we, Nadim Manua and Gab Marcotti. How long have I worked with you, Nadim? I can't still see you, Nadim. Nadim's with us, as is Gab. Nadim just wants to go home.
I know.
It's his last day.
He's done. He's turned the page.
He's had enough. We'll be hearing from the guys in a moment. Ali, I just want to start with you. Without a doubt, that was the best performance we've seen, isn't it? That first half.
It's the best 45 minutes, certainly, that we have seen from Brazil, but I think it's the best 45 minutes that we have seen from anybody in this World Cup. And it's scary to think how good Brazil can be when given time and space in transition, and then these guys take over, and there's just options everywhere. Now, we've talked about it coming into the tournament, that there's a whole lot of options for Tite. It's one thing to talk about it, and then a completely different thing to actually see on the field the full display of all the options and everybody getting involved. Everybody getting involved with passing, with moving, with dribbling, with crossing the ball, with finishing chances. The assist to Richarlison's goal after what was a beautiful play from Richarlison to begin with comes from Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva is now playing through balls. Everybody getting involved in the attack. The finish from Vinicius, and people may just say, well, he had time to bring the ball down. And the fact that he actually brings the ball down and just passes the ball, massages the ball into the back of the net, that would not have happened a year ago for Vinicius, but it's happening now. There is quality everywhere. Neymar coming back from injury. He's also looking good in transition. Paquetá getting involved in the attack. Rafinha, who did not score but was active throughout the course of the match. Everything and anything that you wanted to see from Brazil in this World Cup, we just saw in those 45 minutes. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was special, Nadim.
Yeah, it was very, very impressive. You know, that was a very special 45 minutes. And I think, for me, the performance I can think of that was a bit different to that was maybe Spain against Costa Rica. And then we can say, well, it's only Costa Rica. But Costa Rica beat Japan, who beat Spain and who beat Germany. So maybe it was actually an incredible performance overall, getting the 7-0. But anyway, I think for Brazil, you know, you can find some very clear positives. Good to see Neymar back out there. Now I was leaning towards Argentina should they meet in the semi-final, because I thought if Argentina have Messi but Brazil don't have Neymar, then I think I'd lean that way. But now that Neymar is back, you can see it's a big boost for the team. They really were very attacking today. And don't get me wrong, it's not the best version of South Korea that we've seen, and maybe, you know, they were significantly overmatched before the game even started. But I think for Brazil to send out that sort of performance and have the confidence that they have, and to sort of give their fans something that they can really believe in, I think that makes a big difference when they then go into the next round.
Gab, I think I'm right in saying this is your 18th World Cup. Well, you know the pressure that is on Brazil going into these tournaments and the expectations that they have back at home. The way they played, I thought, especially, of course, in that first half, was like it was just a friendly on the beach. It was incredible.
Yeah, but I can assure you there is, I mean, people, there's often a misconception about Brazil because they're so talented and it's so easy and it's, you know, the friendly on the beach and whatever. But there is a ton of work that goes behind this, and I think you have to give a lot of credit to Tite, their coach. You know, he's been there, since 2016. He treats them like a club side. They have this whole club side ethos to them, which I think is what helps them remain balanced when they go out and they play in these games and turn on these performances. They're comfortable. If there are egos, they're not dividing the dressing room. You know, there's a clear hierarchy. There are leaders there. It really is a perfect blend in terms of chemistry. And I think they're going to be very difficult to stop, whoever they play against.
The pick of the 4 goals has to be Richarlison's, doesn't it? Which starts with, do you want to see me juggling it?
Yeah,
there you go. There's 3.
Did it drop? No, okay.
And then obviously Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, and then Richarlison with the finish.
Yeah, well, you can take any of the goals and actually find some magic behind them. But yes, to your point, the combination there, and And when we talk about Brazil and how successful they have been and impressive they have been in the attack, part of what makes them so impressive is the fact that they're willing to counter-press. As they lose the ball, that they're able to regain that possession of the ball very quickly, which is why Thiago Silva is in an advanced position, which is why Marquinhos is in an advanced position. Then Richarlison with individual skill, Thiago Silva able to find the through ball, and then Richarlison takes his time, finishes well. And at that point, we knew the game was over already, but at that point, it was sort of the culmination of, man, if this team gets going,
yes,
there's no stopping them.
Yeah.
If this is how they're playing, there is no stopping Brazil. I look at Brazil as the team with the highest ceiling in this tournament, and we saw that for 45 minutes. Now, sustaining that is going to be difficult. Now, obviously, the competition is going to get tougher as they advance, but that was some kind of performance offensively. Not only in the fact that they created chances, not only in the fact that they put away those opportunities, but also that counter-pressing that I'm talking about. The fact that late in the match, they're still chasing around, that you see Richarlison chasing people around, that you see a team that has a mindset of regaining possession of the ball very quickly, being on the front foot, parking themselves in the attacking half, and when there are moments to go in transition, these guys are running with the best of them, and they have all the talent in the world to finish the opportunities that they create.
What else caught the eye for you today, Nathan, from Brazil?
I think that is a good question. I think in regards to them having that first half the way they did today in terms of scoring those 4 goals, I think to talk about the other side of it, they scored 3 goals in their group, and as crazy as that may be, they were the lowest scorers in their group. I think defensively they only conceded 1, and obviously that's a huge positive. But, you know, we get more excited by this sort of free-flowing Brazil, so to see them come out the way that they do, to be as attacking as they were and to be as clinical as they were, you know, for people who like XG, the XG was really high for this game. So I think that's what got me. You know, there was a sense of excitement and free-flowing nature. You know, the way they were playing, as I say, was really positive. I think there are lots of nations who I can name, England specifically, who want to see like a more attacking style of football. Well, you know, you see Brazil do that today, and as Ali was saying there, their ceiling there, you can see them drifting towards it. And if they do manage to hit that sort of level, I think he's right. They're going to be a very, very tough side to beat, because at the end of the day, they can either be defensively solid or they can go in a shootout. And in a shootout, you get the feeling they're going to score a ton more goals than you might.
Dancing. Some have taken umbrage to the celebrations, particularly for the 3rd and 4th goal when the game was already gone, already done.
Right. Well, Brazil are dancing even before the game starts. I'll tell you, quick story time about Brazil. They had destroyed us in Venezuela 4-0 in a World Cup qualifier. Both teams are now on the tarmac of the local airport waiting for our charters because we needed to catch a flight for the next World Cup qualifier. Guess what they were doing? Dancing. So they dance before they win, they dance when they win, they dance after they score, they dance before they score. It's part of the culture. You don't like it, you don't have to watch it. I don't mind it. Guess what? They earn the right to celebrate the goal however they want to celebrate. If you don't want Brazil to dance, stop them from scoring. Good luck with that.
Nathan?
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, what people saying, like, you know, after you score, just apologize to the opposition. I'm really sorry that we scored against you. We will now jog back to the halfway line, and we will not do that again. Like, don't be ridiculous. I think the way that they do dance, and as Ali just meant there, it's like it's part of their culture as such, their footballing culture, just the culture in general, and that's them having fun. It's not disrespectful to the opposition. They've earned the right to celebrate by scoring goals. If you want to do something similar, score more goals, score some goals, and be creative in your celebrations. Do something different. I don't find it disrespectful. I find it essentially Brazilian. And I like it. It shows them sort of enjoying their football, enjoying being around each other. And, you know, instead of just moaning when something great happens, you know, they really celebrate it. And you can feel that from the outside. And obviously for South Korea, you'd be disappointed. But the best way to stop them dancing is to stop them scoring. So surely you go back to that football element. And at the end of the day, you know, you're the only person that can stop them. And if you can't do it, then let them dance.
Where do you stand on the dancing, Gab?
Like the boys say, it doesn't bother me one bit. I think the dancing, the lightness, the fun thing, you know, that becomes an issue, that becomes a problem if it's not accompanied by discipline when they're actually playing. And there is a lot of discipline to this Brazil team. Let's not forget, you know, you've got the very talented front four, and then you have a guy in midfield like Lucas Paqueta who is essentially a number 10. He's not a central midfielder. He doesn't play that deep, and yet you have it so you can have another baller on the pitch. Well, that means everybody else has to work that much harder. And what Ali said there, about Rafinha running around, chasing players, working, all of this, it adds up to a team that, can be disciplined and can also enjoy those lighter moments, but once they've earned them by scoring.
Can we talk a little bit about the team spirit of Brazil? In a World Cup, or in any tournament for that matter, when you're around a team for as long as these guys will be, even did they end up making a run deep into the tournament, you sort of have to enjoy people's company, right? Because
it's good that you never went to a World Cup.
I tell you, I was a great teammate, and I was a fun teammate to be around. I may not be fun now, I was fun then. But the point being that Tite, one of the best things that he does with this great group of talent, with so much talent going around, is keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody part of the mix, part of the conversation. And it may not be a big deal to anybody, but I think for a team and the dynamics of a group, the fact that you're able to take Alisson out and put Weverton in, the third goalkeeper, so that everybody has played in this World Cup, it means something. It means something to the group. It means something to the guys that have been together and that are trying to achieve something together. It's just a detail, but it's a detail that lets you see into the makeup of a group that is truly together. And if this is Brazil, truly together, playing for each other, enjoying each other's company and dancing, that means they're winning.
Are you surprised Neymar played as much as he did?
I was. I thought after halftime there was no need for him to be on the field. But I would also say that the second half was no more than a 5v2. It was no more than a training session for Brazil. So maybe it's just, hey, let him run around for a little while. And Neymar was one of the players that, in fact, in the second half were trying to slow things down and just play keep away for as long as he was out there. So I don't think that put a lot of strain on Neymar and his ankle. But had it been me, at halftime I said, Neymar, come on down, let's hide this ankle and let's take care of it.
Was he thinking about the Pele record? Do you think that was in his mind and that's why he stayed out and why Chiche didn't want to pick a fight?
No, I think you're looking...
Right? Reading too much into it.
Reading too much into it because, as I said, Neymar was one of the players that was very willing to slow the pace of the game down in the second half. If he were thinking about breaking Pele's record... look, let me tell you something. He would have been all over it and actually going in a back and forth like Rafinha. Rafinha was still trying to score, but he was one of the only few Brazilian players that was actually trying to do something offensively in the second half. Neymar didn't play a part in that.
Let's get more reactions, shall we? Alexis was at the game. How much of the 90 minutes were you dancing, Alexis?
Oh, Dan, I was dancing straight through that first half. Let me tell you, it was a fitting send-off for the last match that we're going to see at that stadium, the 974 Stadium, which pretty much stole the headlines because it is made entirely out of shipping containers. And what a match it was. Everybody was out of their seats in those first 45 minutes. I would say the stadium was probably 70% Brazil fans on either end, and then the other 30% was a mix of neutral fans as well as South Korea fans. But I think those neutral fans probably left now as Brazil fans. It was a perfect reminder of why so many of us across the world have fallen in love with the Brazilian style of football. The dancing, everybody absolutely loved it. You know, people were getting up and dancing in their seats. I had some really great seats. I was 3 rows up from the pitch, so I could pretty much see everything quite clearly. And the rows of Brazil fans that were in front of me, I mean, after a couple of the goals, they were turning around and they were looking at me with their hands on their head and their hands over their mouth, just saying, as Ale would say, absolute filth, but of the good variety. And once again, you just felt like now the doubts that people had about Brazil after the last match of the group stage, you know, just finally faded away. They reminded their fans, as Messi did with the Argentina fans, don't worry, trust in us. And then the fact that Neymar was back, he got the massive round of applause when they were reading out the team sheet names there. Every time he came to the side and attacked, he was just greeted with uproars of fans and everyone taking out their phone and he loved it. He loved it so much that at the end of the match, he walked the length of the pitch just to applaud everybody. He was giving them the Gareth Bale hearts and just reminding them that he's here and he's prepared to do everything he can for the country. But it was unreal to watch, honestly. I mean, we get to see the likes of Vinny Jr. and Rodrigo Goes all the time, week in, week out, in La Liga, up close and personal. But the pace and the passing that they're able to do it, that joga bonito, the fact that they look like they were enjoying it too, it was just something else, you know. And everybody's asking which teams you should fear. Yesterday, Declan Rice said, you know, people should probably pay more attention to England and learn to fear them as well. And I think Brazil just reminded everyone, even with the substitutions, I know you're going to laugh at that one, but why they are probably now the most feared team of this tournament.
I don't think it's even a debate, is it, after what we saw today on top of some of the performances in the group stages, Alexis? What was really nice as well, the tribute we saw at the end of the game, of course, for Pele.
Yeah, you know, Dana, that's just one of many tributes that we actually have been seeing, and that I have noticed that even other football matches too, you know, we got to see the USA against the Netherlands, and there's a big tower across from that stadium, and a couple of the buildings here in Qatar have been lit up with Pele and his pictures and him and them saying, you know, get well soon. But in the crowd, they had a number of people, a number of Brazil fans with get well soon Pele, and a massive banner that they kept bringing up at one of the ends, pretty much about every 20 minutes or so, and it was always met with a round of applause. Even, you know, the South Korea fans had their own, they had a face of Pele with the South Korea flag, because it's truly, he is a legend, you know. And it was sweet to see this morning too that he posted a picture from back in 1958, and he just wanted to use it to wish luck to this Brazilian team before this match, to tell him, look, he was able to carry his country's flag and live his dreams, and he has no doubt that they could do the same. And after to see the players do that, Rodrigo and I think Neymar came out after the match and said this win was for Pele. We are all with him, and I think that you know, could also be another factor, as if Brazil even needed any more motivation after the last couple of years that they've had in international tournaments, to go out there, get to the final and win this World Cup.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.